On a moonlit night within the Kadampur Palace, nestled in the heart of the Chola kingdom, Prince Karikala and Kanthamaran hurried to the harem of the youngest queen, Nandhini Devi. In the dimly lit chamber, illuminated by flickering lamps, Vandhiyathevan extended his hand to receive the fish-symbol sword from Nandhini. Innocent Manimekalai stood by his side. The soft echo of Nandini's melancholic laughter blended with the sound of the sword hitting the ground. She urgently whispered, "Sir, the god have other plans. Leave the sword here. Hide yourself immediately." Ignoring her plea, Vandhiyathevan stooped to retrieve the sword, gripping its sharp edge. Simultaneously, Nandini pressed her foot down on the sword's hilt. "No," she insisted. "The prince would have heard the sword's fall. Without it, suspicion would cloud his mind. He already doubts us. Go. Just as you vanished from here once before, disappear again this time." Vandhiyathevan winced as the sword's point grazed his palm, leaving a small wound. He released the weapon and straightened up, blood welling from the cut. Nandini observed the crimson stain on his hand. "Listen," she whispered urgently. "I'll keep my promise. I won't be the one to take my brother's life. You must escape, if he discovers you here." Her voice trailed off, leaving the ominous question hanging in the air. "Go," Nandini implored, her eyes wide with fear. Manimekalai echoed the plea, her own gaze filled with anxiety. Footsteps approached, their rhythm growing louder. Vandhiyathevan hesitated, then hurried toward the nearby lute instrument storehouse. He swung open the barn door and vanished inside, heart pounding. Outside, the footsteps drew nearer. Nandini turned to Manimekalai, who stood frozen, eyes fixed on the spot where Vandhiyathevan had disappeared. Nandini's voice was urgent. "Makala, hide! Behind the bed curtains. Slip away without his notice while we distract him." As Karikalan and Kanthamaran entered, Manimekalai vanished behind the bed's curtain. Karikalan surveyed the room, his gaze eventually settling on Nandini. The bed's curtain shifted, but he pretended not to notice it. Approaching Nandini, he noticed the sword lying on the ground, its blade aglow. His eyes then met Nandini's, their intensity piercing her heart. She made a move to retrieve the sword, but Karikalan swiftly intercepted, taking it in hand. He examined the blade from hilt to tip, spotting the fresh bloodstain. "This how we welcome brave young tigers and lions?" Nandini challenged. Karikalan's response was measured. "Wild tigers and lions require sharp claws and teeth, but God bestowed those upon the wandering spotted deer, for they had no need of such weapons." Nandini persisted. "Even a deer might find use for its antlers, and the reindeer, too, may thank God for its horns. Show mercy, return the sword to me." Atitha Karikalan's gaze bore into hers. "What other motives might there be?" he pressed. "Perhaps revenge? Maybe your intention is to slay the wretch who inflicted an indelible wound upon your heart, disregarding your pleas." Nandini's head drooped, and she sighed deeply. When she looked up at the prince, her voice trembled. "Count, it's true. I once harbored such thoughts. That's why I worship this valiant sword, waiting for the opportune moment. But when that moment arrived, my arms lacked strength. Henceforth, I'll wield this blade only to defend my honor and my husband's. Show mercy. Grant it to me like this." Karikalan's resolve remained unyielding. "My lady, shouldn't I shoulder that responsibility? Mustn't I fulfill my duty by punishing the scoundrel who dared threaten you or your husband?" Nandini's response was firm. "It's impossible. Can you punish your dear friends for the sake of a fatherless orphan like me?" "Why not?" Karikalan's voice hardened. "Indeed, Nandini, I didn't fully believe your account of Vandhiyathevan on Lake Island. But later, Maran confirmed the truth. Even if you choose to forgive that, I won't. Tell me where he is. Won't you tell me? Don't assume my eyes are blind. Look." His anger surged as he advanced toward the bed's curtain. Nandini's desperation drove her to touch his feet, rising and folding her hands. "Count, please. Spare him." But Karikalan remained unyielding. "Nandini, direct your kindness elsewhere. Don't extend mercy to a scoundrel who conspires under the guise of friendship." With those words, he overpowered Nandini and moved forward. Her eyes darted around, panic seizing her. She turned to Maran, who stood like a statue near the door. "Alas, stop him," she cried. Maran stirred, but only briefly. A hollow laugh escaped him before he resumed his stony stillness. The tension in the room was palpable as Karikalan confronted Manimekalai behind the curtain. When he lifted it, she emerged, brandishing a small, sharp knife and emitting a fierce cry. Karikalan stood momentarily stunned, sword in hand, before tearing the curtain aside. "Ah, is this our tigress?" he exclaimed, laughter bubbling forth. "Her claws are indeed razor-sharp." Turning to Maran, he instructed, "Friend, take your sister and return her to our mother. I don't know how many tiger cubs will be born in her womb. If she had fallen victim to King Pandya's sword, how many brave sons and daughters would Chola kingdom lose?" Mekalai, who had just hissed like a tigress, felt a flush of shame at Karikalan's words. She was already prepared to leave the room when her brother approached her. Once Maran and Mekalai departed, Karikalan shifted his gaze to Nandhini. "Queen," he began, "I staged a performance to deceive them both. Now, can we finally speak candidly?" Nandhini regarded him with genuine surprise. "Sir, you acted in a drama? It was truly convincing. I too fell for it." Karikalan chuckled. "Nandhini, your acting prowess knows no bounds. Even if you were deceived, you must appreciate my skills. But tell me, when I approached Mekalai's hiding spot, why didn't you stop me? Did you think that alongside the many crimes you've committed against me, you'd add the sin of harming a woman?" "Oh God," Nandhini protested. "She's the only woman I truly love. Could I stand idly by as she perished? I assumed you'd realize once you pulled back the curtain." Karikalan's laughter continued. "I find your confusion amusing," he said. "Your reason for wanting Mekalai dead was sufficient. But I still don't understand," Nandhini admitted. Karikalan's tone turned serious. "When you love someone, they become my adversary. Isn't that clear?" Nandhini hesitated. "I know. I'm cursed in matters of love. But surely your enmity won't extend to this innocent young woman?" "Or perhaps your intentions differ," Karikalan mused. "Maybe you thought that if I killed Mekalai, Maran would seek revenge. Or perhaps she'd hurl that small knife at me before I could strike her down." Nandhini recoiled. What dreadful thoughts. "Then why are you here, Count?" Karikalan pressed. "What hope brought you to this place?" "Hope? I have none," Nandhini confessed. "My heart is filled only with despair. I wish to leave this land and this world. But before I go, I came to see you one last time, to bid farewell. You knelt and pleaded with me. Now hold your hands and pray." "Nandhini, your burden weighs heavily upon you, and the past haunts your every step. Karikalan's compassionate voice seeks redemption, but you both stand at the precipice of fate. The dead remain beyond our grasp, their silence unyielding. Yet, can we not find atonement in granting life to the living? Karikalan sees through your intentions, the veiled purpose behind your summons, the orchestration of events. You sought revenge, wielding Veera Pandyan's sword as your instrument. But now, he offers it freely, urging you to fulfill your vow." His words echo. "Will the lion cub lose its nature because it has grown up in a flock? You, born into a warrior lineage, must not falter. Kanthamaran, Parthipanthiran, and Vandhiyathevan, do not embroil them further. Your revenge lies within your trembling grasp. The palace stirs with anticipation. Kanthamaran will return, Parthipanthiran and Sambhuvarayar too. An opportune moment awaits, a convergence of fate and purpose. Karikalan resolute assures you, you will not harm me by taking my life. But your hands quiver, your heart softened. Why? The answer lies in Vandhiyathevan's message, the revelation that pierced your resolve, the revelation that Vandhiyathevan shared, the knowledge of your shared bloodline, shattered your disbelief. Now, as Karikalan stands before you, the sword extended, you seek a boon, a chance to fulfill your vow, to end the cycle of vengeance. But Karikalan's laughter echoes through the palace, a haunting sound. Vandhiyathevan, hidden in the giant granary, senses impending tragedy. God of death, the shadowy figure, waits with a rope of affection. Whose life will it claim? Brother or sister? Perhaps both. The junior stateswoman's efforts have softened their hearts, but can it prevent their fatal clash? Vandhiyathevan grapples with the decision, to intervene or let fate unfold. Sacrifice, perhaps, could quell their enmity. The sea of his heart churns, a tempest of uncertainty. He waits, teeth clenched, hoping his restraint won't tip the scales toward calamity. After Karikalan's frenzied laughter subsided, their conversation continued. Nandini's voice trembled as she addressed him. Sir, throughout my life, I've never done anything to please you. Yet in this moment, as death looms, I find solace in your laughter. It warms my heart. Karikalan's eyes sparkled with a mix of determination and relief. Yes, Nandini. Today marks the end of years of torment. When I left Kanchi, I resolved to face you. I feared boredom, but now seeing you in person, I'm anything but bored. You handed me the sword yourself. Nandini's gaze held a blend of defiance and longing. Count, I won't die a pleasant death, cut by your hand. Once I dreamt of you adorning me with a garland. That dream remains unfulfilled. But let me at least place the sword around my neck. Sir, the time has come. Why delay? Karikalan's laughter echoed, tinged with irony. Years have slipped away, Nandini. A few more minutes won't matter. Look at me, truly look. Why should I garland you with a sword when my hand should be weaving flowers for you? If our shared dream holds any truth, who stands in its way? I'll eliminate any obstacle, sparing you. Nandini's voice quivered. No, sir. Spare them. Spare all for my sake. No one obstructs our fate. It's my own past that binds us. Karikalan's eyes bore into hers. Break that barrier swiftly. Don't burden fate. I invoke the ancient verses of Brahma. Nandini interrupted, her words urgent. Brahma's verses can be rewritten, but can you alter someone's birth? His brow furrowed. What do you mean, Nandini? Our families warned us, Brahmin tribe, forbidden friendship. But we knew better. You were raised among them, not born into their clan. Nandini's revelation hung heavy. Not that, sir. Listen to the message from the Varnar tribe's warrior, the urgent missive sent by Queen Kundavai. Have you forgotten? I am your sister. Karikalan's disbelief surfaced. Nandini, you doubted it before, called it a ploy. But now, she cut him off. No doubts remain. Blood doesn't bind us. He pressed on. Then what's the obstacle? Her confession was raw. I'm married to Elder Paluvetarayar. He is your grandfather. Our lineage intertwines. Isn't that enough? Karikalan's resolve wavered. Don't deceive me, Nandini. You're Paluvetarayar's junior queen in public, but privately, our dream still haunts us. The intensity of their emotions crackled in the air, each word a blade that cut through their shared history. Nandini's voice trembled as she retorted, You set terrible conditions for fulfillment. To kill Paluvetarayars, imprison my father, and place yourself on the Chola throne. Madness, you called it. But you left me, Karikalan. You haunted my dreams, my memories. Weeping, lamenting, smiling. Your torment knew no bounds. Vandhiyathevan, caught in their storm, trembled. Karikalan's anger surged, fueled by desperation. Karikalan's resolve wavered. You suffered too? Then why not choose me? Let's leave this Chola kingdom behind. I've forsaken my birthplace, my kin. We'll sail across the seas to distant islands. The throne means nothing compared to you. Nandini's laughter held bitterness. Even if you renounce the kingdom, you won't accept a low-caste daughter as queen, will you? He challenged her. Is the Chola throne more precious than our love? Was every moment since we met merely a path to the crown? Her confession cut deep. I crave palace life, royalty, the throne. That's why I married Paluvetarayars, and why I tried to save King Pandya. Karikalan erupted. Don't mention his name. Your secret plan, Vandhiyathevan, isn't it? You want to flee with him. He's the reason you sent Paluvetarayars away. You two conspired. Nandini's plea was desperate. Listen, the warrior of the Varnar tribe. Mother Earth won't tolerate harm to him. Manimekalai, my dear friend, will suffer. Swear on it. Spare him. Pierce my heart with Veera Pandya's sword. Your image alone resides there. This is truth. Her tears flowed freely. Nandini's revelation hung heavy in the room, a truth too weighty to bear. Karikalan's frenzy had subsided, replaced by a desperate need for answers. Why do you refuse to come with me? His voice cracked. Why do you want me to be the instrument of your death? Nandini's gaze held a mixture of sorrow and determination. Count, it's true that my heart belongs to no one but you, but I cannot accompany you. There's a compelling reason, a barrier that prevents our union. I came here to confess, to seek your forgiveness. I hesitated, fearing my words would ignite your anger. Karikalan's eyes bore into hers. Speak, Nandini. No matter how bitter, I'll listen. I wasn't angry when you suggested I marry another woman, but don't play games. Her voice trembled. My life is a tapestry of fantasy and deception. My birth, a fiction. To survive and fulfill my mission, I wove intricate lies. I did terrible things, manipulated events. My duty, my love for you, they clashed relentlessly. Today that struggle nears its end. I'll reveal the truth, and you must decide my fate. He scoffed. Blame? What more blame can I bear? Tell me, the real reason for our reunion, the fulfillment of our youthful dream. Nandini's eyes welled with tears. Listen, Count. The truth will shatter any hope of our union. It will reveal why I cannot be with you. My life's redemption lies in this revelation. The warrior from the Varnar tribe brought news about my mother. Lady, lost in Lanka, is my true mother. Many have noticed our resemblance. Some people thought I was my mother. However, I recently discovered what caused her distress. As far as I know, I'm the only one aware of this. Now for the first time, I'll reveal who my father is. Please remember the promise you made to me earlier and show compassion, avoiding anger and malice. The weight of Nandini's revelation hung heavily in the air. Trembling, she leaned toward Karikalan, her voice barely audible. My true father. It's him. Tears flowed as the truth spilled forth. Karikalan's initial denial gave way to anguish, and the barrier between them seemed insurmountable. Meanwhile, Vandhiyathevan listened, paralyzed by their impassioned exchange. Vandhiyathevan's heart raced, inspiration surged. He leaped into action. Athitha Karikalan's emotional turmoil was palpable. Initially, he vehemently denied Nandini's revelation, as if stung by 1,000 scorpions. But then, his anger subsided, replaced by anguish. In a trembling voice, he acknowledged the truth she had carried silently, the struggle, suffering, and the weight of their shared secret. The barrier between them seemed insurmountable, and he grappled with the consequences of his past actions. Redemption, he realized, was elusive. As Nandini wept, he vowed to undertake his penance, seeking salvation for both their lives. Vandhiyathevan, hidden in the storehouse barn, listened intently to the impassioned exchange between Nandini and Karikalan. As Karikalan's frenzy escalated, Vandhiyathevan contemplated intervening, but fear held him back. He strained to catch Nandini's revelation about her father, yet her words remained elusive. A guess formed in his mind, startling him, an unprecedented shock. When Karikalan's voice finally aligned with Nandini's confession, Vandhiyathevan's curiosity overpowered his fear. He peeked out from the barn, only to witness a new twist. A hideous face emerging through the secret door of the hunting hall, reflected in the mirror. His heart raced, and inspiration ignited. The Ravithasan's face appeared, and Vandhiyathevan witnessed the secret door of the hunting hall slowly opening. First, the tiger's head emerged, followed by its carcass. Inspiration surged within him, and he leaped out of the giant barn. But then, a thunderbolt-like arm encircled his neck from behind. A large, bull-faced figure had appeared. Struggling to break free, our hero Vandhiyathevan fell, darkness closing in as he lost consciousness.
Why was Vandhiyathevan in that chamber? What just happened in the room? What was the argument between Karikalan and Nandhini about? Who are the characters in this scene, and what happened to Karikalan and Vandhiyathevan afterwards? If you want to know the full story, you'll need to join us on a long journey. Welcome, viewers. Let's explore history together. Imagine sailing through time like a magical ship, riding the waves of history. Picture this. In just a few seconds, we'll travel back centuries. In our next adventure, we'll join Vandhiyathevan, a brave explorer. He's on a quest to uncover secrets from 30 days ago. Get ready for excitement, mystery, and stories from the past. Let's step into the enchanting world of Ponniyin Selvan. It's an ancient tale from South India, written by Kalki Krishnamurthy. Don't worry if it seems confusing at first. The plot and characters can be like a puzzle. In today's episode, we've seen a dark day in the history of the Chola dynasty. More surprises await us in the upcoming episodes. As we continue our journey, mysteries will unravel, friendships will be tested, and destinies will collide. Hold on tight. We're about to explore a world filled with secrets, love, and powerful struggles. And don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon so you won't miss our next adventure. Thank you for joining me. It's going to be an amazing voyage.